Hey guys, and welcome to this video. I'm talking today about soul mission. And I'm talking about soul missions today because as I'm embarking on my own soul mission and as I'm finding my own purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm actually here to do, the more I'm able to get insight that I can share with you guys to hopefully help you also find your purpose, your mission, why you're actually here, and what you're really here to do. And so in through embarking on this truly like soul mission journey, what I'm really noticing and realizing, and I'm actually at a crossroads. I've actually been sitting at a crossroads for, I feel like, all of 2022. I've just literally been sitting at a crossroads in my life where I've had to make a decision whether to go left or right or straight or back, right? And as I have been sitting at these crossroads, or at this crossroad in my life, what I have come to understand, because I've been sitting here for a while, like I said, for all of this year so far, it's been a lot of intellectual stuff and planning and figuring things out, and a ton of going within myself and sorting out my emotions and all kinds of baggage and doing shadow work. Like, going through this process of doing all of that has kind of just left me sitting at these crossroads. But this was also very, very important, because when you are at a crossroads in your life, you don't want to just make a decision on a whim. You don't want to just, dive headfirst into something that, maybe you didn't necessarily research, or more importantly, that you didn't intuitively feel like you were guided to do that thing. And so this is why I have spent the last approximately 10, 11 months basically sitting and just figuring out all of those things within myself and figuring out who I was truly on the inside. And to be honest with you, much of this process had to do with shedding an incredible amount of betrayal and hurt and, all kinds of trauma and emotional damage that has occurred in my life as a result of different experiences that I've had. And so that's why I have been sitting at these crossroads for so long, because I haven't been able to, you can't move forward when you have like a ton of baggage. And this is something I've really come to realize, and I've really come to understand that the reason why I was stuck or feeling stuck for so long was because I had so much baggage, so much emotional trauma, like I said, and just different things within me that I haven't healed, that I didn't look at. A lot of inner child work that wasn't done. There was a major nurturing and re-elevating and just like loving my inner child that needed to take place within me, so that I can elevate, so that I can move past those traumas and move past those limitations. Because think about it, when you have trauma, when you experience trauma, it all of a sudden puts you in a bubble, right? And it creates this sort of cage around you emotionally, or we create a cage around ourselves emotionally as a means of protection, which is normal in essence, right? Because our bodies, our minds, our DNA is absolutely encoded to survive, to protect itself, right? To keep itself safe, right? And when we don't feel safe, when we don't feel like we can truly be ourselves, then that's when, because of some kind of traumatic situation that has happened, or some kind of major emotional damage that has happened, then we cage ourselves up, and then you're kind of locked in there, and you're really locked in there only for the amount of time that you determine. So how long you're stuck is really always up to you. And this is something that I noticed too within myself. And it's sometimes it's hard to face that reality, because you know that you are the only one responsible to get yourself unstuck. And so many times in life, I think, and what I notice and see out in the world, is that people are feeling so much like victims, and so much like, oh, poor me. And definitely like victim mentality is very, very strong on the planet. And because of that, I'm noticing that people keep themselves stuck. The longer you're a victim, the less likely you're going to take action for your own benefit, the less likely you're going to make choices that truly serve you, the less likely you're going to take action that is going to move you in the right direction. So getting out of victim mentality was like one of the first things that I had to shed. But there was like a ton of things that I have shed in this past 10, 11 months, like I said, of this year. It's been a really tough year, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like I've been put through the emotional ringer, which I have. because, a lot of difficulties did present themselves. And it wasn't just difficulties external in my life, but actually difficulties within myself. And a lot of shit that I had to process and really, really work through within myself so that I can shed these layers that have been like just like a veil, over top of me for so many fucking years of my life, and have really, really prevented me from moving forward, from attracting, the right people into my life that can support and help me in the right way. It has prevented me from, meeting my soul tribe and meeting those right connections, and just so much has prevented me from truly, experiencing abundance and prosperity and love and all kinds of different things. Why? Because I had all these layers on top of me from all the previous traumas, and those layers were what I had to peel back one at a time, slowly. And that peeling back work was the shadow work, was the inner child work, was the meditation, it was the prayers, was the positive affirmations. It was like this constant working on myself. And I got goosebumps as I'm saying that. There was this constant working on myself that I had to do in order to, first of all, have the awareness and to really see that, oh my God, all my victim mentality is just from past experiences, and it's something that I can shed now. Like, I had to see that. I had to get to that point in my life where I realized that, but it took me like a while to get there. And maybe some people might say, like, what are you talking about? You're so young and you're already there. And that's true. So from certain perspectives, I actually got there faster than most people if I'm kind of like looking at the external world. But it's not a race, right? That's not what this is about. It's just because for me, it felt like it was totally slow and it like took forever. But right, it's all about perception. It's all about how we see things. But yeah, so shedding that victim mentality, I most certainly have shed codependency, like the unhealthy codependency. By codependency, I mean like this constant need for external validation. That's codependency. Or like not being able to like live alone, or not being able to be on my own. Those are all codependency issues, that we have. And I mean, I for sure freaking mastered that one. I've been alone for many, many years now. And, it is truly something that I have mastered as a result of being alone for so many years, as a result of not finding that person that I was meant to be with, up until this point, kind of thing. Like for all of those years, of my life, I really couldn't even attract the right person into my life. I kept attracting the same narcissistic bullshit fucking people into my life because I couldn't see how much I was doing that. I just wasn't able to see, and I kept feeling like a victim, and because I was feeling like a victim, I was attracting situations that caused me to become a victim. And it was just like, it just snowballed and kept perpetuating itself. Like, it was fucking awful. Like, it was so hard for so many years for me, until I really realized and really woke up. And my ascension process started in 2017, like 100%. 2017 is just the year that sticks out to me like a sore thumb. And I will never, ever forget the exact day that I was driving on the highway. I was coming home from work. And all of a sudden I had this massive epiphany about my father and about how he had been treating me. And my father is a huge narcissist, by the way. God bless him. I love my father. He's still alive. I love him very much. But I know, where he's at and how stuck he is with certain things. And so I've chosen to just separate myself from him for the time being. I'm really, really hopeful that one day, we can pick up that thread again and talk and yeah. And I don't know if he's changed his narcissistic tendencies or not. I mean, if he's going to continue being a narcissist, then he's just axed out of my life permanently. That's just how I see it now, because I have no tolerance for that kind of stuff anymore. Once you rise above it, you just fucking see it like from a mile away. So you're going to be like, oh, that, no, thank you. But yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So, and when I had that epiphany, that it was like a January day when I was driving home. And like I said, when I had that epiphany, it was just, everything changed. From that moment on, everything changed. Everything started to unfold. And I'm not saying like everything changed like in that instant, like externally in my life, but just everything changed within me internally. And once I had that awareness, there was just no going back. There was no denying it. There was no covering it up, sugarcoating it. There was nothing. It was just there. It was the truth. It was the reality, and I saw it for what it was. And that's what kickstarted my journey actually to healing. So I've come like a really long way since 2017. That's what now? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years. So, so that's 5 years now that I've been going through this ascension process. And now I feel I'm like at the top of my game. I feel like I've finally shed enough layers, enough trauma layers off of me to have ascended and to have elevated to a certain level of personal power, to a certain level of personal knowing and personal wisdom. And that is really what I want to share with everybody, because I know we can all get here. It's just going to take work and it takes time, and it doesn't matter what part of the ascension journey you're on at the moment or what section of it you're at. I think that's something that you're going to be able to identify based on how you feel on a regular basis, on a daily basis, based on how much personal power that you feel that you have within you or don't have within you. These are all cues. These are all little hints at, where you're at with your ascension process. If you're still triggered by people like crazy, that tells you that, there's still something within you that is getting triggered. So what do you have to do to heal those triggers within you? What do you have to do to ascend, to rise above? What is ascension? It's to rise above. Above what? Above the darkness. That is what ascension is to rise out of the darkness and into the light, into becoming the best versions of ourselves as human beings, because we're so fucking capable of doing such incredible things and such magic. But that magic can only be felt and experienced by the external world when you yourself feel that magic within you, when you have manifested and created that magic within you. And how do you do that? You shed the layers of trauma, you shed the layers of victimhood, you shed the layers of codependency, you shed the layers of lack mindset, of not enough. These are all the things that we need to shed, that we have been programmed to believe through our lifetime. From the day that you were born, you have been programmed. This is how you do this. That's how you do that. This is what you believe, and that's what you believe. That is what has happened to every single human from the moment that they enter into this world, right? We create humans, and then we mold them into basically us, into who we are, and into the level of consciousness that we're at. So can you be aware of where your level of consciousness is at in this very moment, so that you can start to, especially if you have children, so that you can start to see like, okay, shit, this is where I'm at. I better start changing these negative programs that I received as a child so that I don't put it into my child and I don't raise my child with those same concepts and thoughts and beliefs. Because that is what molds and shapes us into who we become. And it molds and shapes our character and our personalities. And it pushes us into being, and molds and morphs us a lot of times into being these lower vibrational people that we're totally not supposed to be. All from programming. If we can program water and we can program computers, what makes us think we can't program ourselves? That this is a computer. That is exactly what we are, right? We are biological, organic computers in a sense, but not computers. Like, that's very robotic. But like just, I can't even describe. Like, we're just so multifaceted. We're just such incredible energy beings, and energy can never be destroyed. It can only be recreated and transformed, right? So it's like, if you're born, say, with like a certain level of energy or a certain radiance of energy, but then it starts to get dirty because it starts to get tainted by all these different concepts and thoughts and perceptions and beliefs that other people have planted within you, then what do you think is going to happen to your vibration? What do you think is going to happen to your resonance? It's going to drop. It's going to sink like a fucking tank. Like, it's just not going to be able to maintain that high level, because there's this underlying program that's full of viruses that's running. So it's like, we have to delete the program, remove the program, pluck it out altogether, shed the program to get back up to the ascension, to get back up to that radiance that we actually are. I was just doing a meditation right before starting this video, and in this meditation, I felt my root chakra was actually really, really unstable and very blocked. Even though I had already gone out for my walk this morning, I just felt the root chakra was very, very blocked. So I decided to shift the root. And what does the root chakra have to do with? What does the very first base chakra have to do with? It has to do with survival. It has to do with money. It has to do with like prosperity, with family, with your roots, your ancestors, with all of those things. So, and there was a disconnect there. There was something that was blocking. And I know for me specifically, it had to do with, because I felt it on the left side. So it had to do with receiving money. That's what it was. There was like this block in there that I could feel still. I'm like, oh shit, there's another layer that needs to be peeled away. So I started to go in and I started to do energy work. So I just spin the energy, and I would start spinning the energy at my root chakra. And as I was spinning the energy, I was visualizing, and I was out loud claiming and making statements such as, my root chakra is fully open, and my root chakra is free of all negative and lower vibrational energies, entities, and pathogens. Like that kind of stuff. Like I just kept going, and I just kept saying different things to open up the root chakra, and that I'm shedding all of this, and that my root chakra is now full of power, and it's amplified. My roots have come out of my root chakra, and I visualized the roots coming out, and I was grounding, I was connecting to Mother Earth. And then I made a statement and I declared it. I am connected to Mother Earth. I am grounded within her energy and within her love. I feel supported. I feel safe. So it was like all of these things, and I just kept going and I kept going, and it was wonderful. It really amped me up, and I'm sure you can feel it right now. Like I'm fucking amped up, and I feel awesome. It was like a total reclaiming of power. It was a total surrender to the divine and to the power that I actually have within me. Because sometimes I've realized that we get afraid of our own power. We get afraid of our own ability to create amazing things. And do you know why we get afraid? And this is something that I've also realized. We get afraid because we know, and we deep down feel that if we change, if we become this powerful, amazing version of ourselves, then there's going to be probably a whole bunch of people in our lives that are going to have to fall away, who are not going to be okay with that. And that oftentimes is one of the biggest reasons why most people are afraid to change, because they know darn well that if I change, if I embody this power that I have within myself, this assertiveness, this confidence, if I embody that within myself, then I'm going to lose a lot of people in my life, because 99% will be jealous of that power because they feel the lack within themselves, and you're gonna be like that example for them, right? They're gonna see like, oh fuck, like I want to be powerful like her, or I want to, feel as confident as her, right? Or him, or whatever. So we get into that. We're afraid of that loss. But if you realize that what you're losing is meant to be lost, because when you lose something, you always gain something. So what you're going to gain instead is other people who are going to match that vibration, other people who are going to be on that level, your soul tribe, who is also willing to be assertive and strong, but loving at the same time, confident and powerful, and knowing within themselves who they are. That is what you're going to attract. And this is what I have now made the conscious effort and choice to attract. Is I want to be surrounded by people in my life who are powerful, who want to accomplish similar goals as I do, who want to help elevate humanity, who want to embody their power, and who are willing to do what it takes to get to success, and they're willing to use energy to manifest. And you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of stuff I want in my life. People that are on par with me and with my goals, with where I'm at, with my beliefs, with my perceptions. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my soul tribe at this stage of my life. And what I'm noticing is, in order to find my soul tribe, I am needing to increasingly elevate myself. I'm needing to truly embody those people that I look up to, the people that I aspire to become like. I need to embody that same energy. I need to become that same energy. And it's not their energy, but my own, in my own personal way. So it's not about like, oh, I want to be like you. No, it's just more like, I just want to be able to embody the power that I can see are embodying within yourself. Because that's truly motivating, and it inspires me to be powerful as well. So that's the kind of processes that I'm going through right now. And there's a massive shedding that is definitely happening in my life. And I'm recognizing and I'm noticing, and I did a lot of work around this yesterday about certain people that need to leave my life right now. And I've written some letters and different things to those people to really just put it in a very positive context of like, why I need to move on at this point and why I need to end this relationship. And that's a really, really good thing, and it's bittersweet. I'm going to say it's more sweet, but it is hard. There is some bitterness to it because certain connections that you've had in your life, like for many, many years, are or can be difficult to let go. Especially if you're really used to that person, if you're just really used to their vibe, the way they are, and like you guys have like a certain routine or a certain thing that you do, then it can be really, really difficult to, to let someone go or let someone leave your life. However, if you do not recognize whether that person is on par with you or whether that person is striving at all for anything, like if you don't notice whether they're trying to ascend or not, no, let me word it differently. Like we need to be able to notice whether someone in our life is willing to ascend or not willing to ascend. There we go. Because if you don't notice, then what you're going to do is you're going to perpetuate relationships that really are not good for you, that really don't support you, that really don't elevate you, that are just not on the same page as you. Because that's what I'm recognizing within my own life, is that I have people in my life that are just not on the same page with me. And yet they really try to cling on and hang on, and they really want to stay in my life, where I'm feeling now increasingly that, man, we are not on the same level, and I'm kind of out. Like I'm not interested in their company. I'm not interested in spending time with them. I'm not feeling inclined at all to keep up the relationship at all. And that's a very clear sign that you need to let that person go. So that's where I'm at with certain people. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to be taking care of that this week because it has to be done. I realized, and I really recognized this week, that in order for the new to come into my life, I must be willing to release the old. I must be willing to let go of people, situations, habits, circumstances, like all kinds of things. We must be willing to let those things go and let them fall away from our lives so that we can, again, close that door to allow another to open. Because only once you have closed that door can another one open. And then that other one is like there, and you just got to walk through, and all of a sudden like, oh, well, shit, here I thought I was going to be all lonely and no friends and whatever. And then like, boom, somebody else walks into my life who is like totally, like part of my soul tribe, or I feel intensely connected to, or I feel like we're really, really on the same page in terms of where I'm at right now. And, that will change also over time, I feel, and the way I've seen it is that as you continually ascend, people will come, they'll meet you at this level, and then maybe that's it. And then maybe they're there with you for a time because you're at that level for a time. And then when you're ready to ascend further, then those people may have to fall away, and then new people will come in who are also, again, on par with you. And then it just keeps kind of, we're going up a ladder. Okay. We're just going up a ladder. That's exactly what is happening. And that's how you need to gauge the people that are in your life, is like, are you on this like ladder with me? Are we on the same step of this ladder? Or are you like 5 steps below me and I'm the one like going up first and, taking the brunt of everything, and you're just kind of like down there, trying to hang on. Right. Because I feel that there's certain people like that in our lives, and they become anchors. So do you want people that are anchoring you and pulling you back down and but they're gripping on for dear life to stay in your life? Like, don't let them stay in your life. And you don't have to be an asshole about it. You can just tell them very politely. And this is why I took the time yesterday, and I actually wrote out a full letter to this person that I'm going to be doing this with, that I need to release. And I'll be reading them this letter. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm not just going to send them the letter or like type it and then, email it to them or anything like that. I'm actually going to read it to them over the phone, because I feel just out of respect, and that's just who I am, and that's how I want to do it. If that's not how you want to do it, you don't have to do it that way. You could just write a letter to somebody and say, listen, this just doesn't work for me anymore. Give your reasons, or maybe don't give reasons, whatever. And then, send it off to them. But I'm going to be doing this where I'm reading it off to them, and I'm just going to say, I needed to put it into a letter so that I could get all my thoughts out properly. And so here it is. And then when you said your piece, then, I wish you all the best and have a great life. Bye. That's it. Like, I know that sounds super black and white, but it has to be. It has to be, because if you don't, then what are you doing? You're either in or you're out. This is something I'm recognizing within myself, that I do this like teeter-totter sometimes. Like, I'm in and I'm out, but I'm in, but I'm out. And now I don't want to teeter-totter. Now I'm realizing that I need to be more defined. I need to be more specific. And again, if I'm at a crossroads, then being more specific is like, okay, that's a definite out. So I know I'm definitely not going to go backwards. That's for sure now, right? Because that's really what we're choosing. By choosing the people that are in our lives, by choosing the habits that we create on a daily basis, by choosing the practices that we do on a daily basis, by choosing the job that we choose to work on a daily basis, you are constantly making choices, right? And are those choices at your crossroad leading you left, right, backwards, or forwards? That's what you need to determine. And how you determine that is based on how you feel. How do I feel when I'm with this person? And how do I feel afterwards? How do I feel when I do this work? And how do I feel afterwards? How do I feel when I'm doing this certain action, or when I'm doing this certain habit? And then how do I feel afterwards? And what I mean by afterwards is like after that person is gone now, and then what's the feeling that's kind of left within you? What's the feeling while you're with them? And then what's the feeling left within you after they're gone? What's the feeling within you when you're doing a certain action? And what's the feeling after you're done doing the action? Pay attention to these things, because when you do, you're going to recognize where you're actually at, how you truly feel about things. And when you start to honor those feelings, and you start to listen to those feelings, and you start to follow them in terms of like, you know what? That didn't feel good. I'm not going to repeat that. So when you start to do those things, you're going to start making very definite choices in terms of your crossroads while you're at your crossroads. And you're going to start eliminating directions, which is doing what? Narrowing it down for you now, isn't it? It's going to narrow it down and point you into the right direction. And I was listening to something super awesome from Abraham Hicks, and she was talking about the flow of the stream, right? So all of life is like a stream, and that we need to flow on the stream. And how you don't flow is by resistance. So every time that you are resisting your own happiness, every time that you are resisting like a feeling within you, when the feeling says, don't have that other drink, or when the feeling says, don't have that smoke, or when the feeling says, don't hang out with that person, or don't go out with that friend, or whatever, and you don't listen, that is resistance. You are resisting your own happiness because you're making choices that are going against you. So are you going to be happy making choices going against yourself? No, you're not, right? So there's there's just so much to be aware of. But when you truly start to become aware, because you're choosing to become aware, then the awareness is just, it's all encompassing. I find that I don't even have to work at it now. I don't have to necessarily pay attention. It's pretty automatic. It just kind of comes. I just notice things immediately now. The feeling, the intuition is significantly heightened and stronger as we have all these wonderful energies and planetary alignments happening this week. I can feel how much stronger my intuition is, and how much power it's gaining, and traction that it's gaining. It's just truly becoming my compass, my internal compass. And it's constantly guiding me to my happiness. And that's so fucking awesome, because for so long I have chosen unhappiness because I didn't realize that happiness was a choice. Because I didn't realize that if I just became more aware of how I constantly feel around things, around people, with the food I eat, with whatever, if I'm constantly paying attention to those things, then I'm going to get constant clues about what feeds me and what does not. What feeds my soul and nurtures my soul and heart and my emotions, my mental capacity, and what does not. You can notice these things, but it takes awareness. But awareness comes when you actually want to change. So it's like change doesn't have to be difficult. I mean, it has been difficult for me because to do the shadow work and to shed all this garbage and all this trauma and all this victimhood, was not easy. That was not like a fucking walk in the park at all. At all. It took a lot of really deep, you got to go down into the darkness in order to see what's in there and then purge it. You know what I'm saying? So, and obviously being in the darkness is never fun. But it's a process that I was willing to go through. And it's a process that if you're willing to go through, I assure you, you will have tremendous success. You will transform yourself from the inside out and you will become a brand new person. And perhaps poverty has been, very common in your family. And maybe you'll be the first person that'll become the millionaire in your family. Like I know I am, right? Like there's just these things that you all of a sudden, you open yourself up to a brand new expansive path and you narrow it down to this path of happiness because you are choosing to be aware of how you feel in every given moment. And the one last thing that I'm going to mention in this video is my career. So I have been a massage therapist for the last 17 years, almost 20 years. It's a long time. I've been doing it for a really, really long time. And I've reached the point, and I reached this point a long time ago, and I wish I had the awareness sooner, but I didn't, and that's okay. But I've reached this point within myself where this is the first year I know I'm not going to be renewing my license. I know for sure I'm not going to be continuing on that journey any longer. And I know for a fact because it makes me so fucking unhappy that I cannot force myself to do it any longer. And to be able to come to this conclusion within yourself, to really truly acknowledge and realize that something makes you unhappy, and then having the courage to change that and to take a brand new path and start something completely brand new is like, it takes balls to do that. But I can assure you, it's worth it. It is worth it because I'm doing this right now and I'm going to shed a part of myself that I've hung on to and I've clinged onto for so fucking long, like way longer than I should have, all because of fear. All because I was afraid to lose my $20,000 education, all because I was afraid to lose, all the hard work that I put into it's like pre-med, man. Like to become a massage therapist in Canada, it's pre-med. You have it's 2 years intensive, or 3. I did it in 2, but it's actually a 3-year program. I did it in a condensed version. So it was like 2 years of absolutely intense anatomy and physiology and kinesiology and fucking all that shit. Like you really got to know your stuff. And then there's this grueling exam, certification exam that you have to go through after you graduate and after you get your 2,200 practice hours, hands-on hours in. So it's like before I even left school, I had already massaged 2,200 people. Like it's insane, right? And that was just like before I even fully graduated. And then my massage career started and I've been doing this for 17 years. So at this point, I have touched the bodies of literally thousands of people, thousands and thousands of people. And I came to this conclusion that this is the first year, and actually all of 2022 so far for me has been very much this theme of like, I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm done. I don't want to do it. There's just everything within me is like repulsed by it. Like it came to a point because I left it for so long, because I've wanted to stop massage because it was like killing my body and I wanted to stop it way sooner. But because I pushed myself to keep going with it, because I convinced myself that, the pay was good, even though I fell apart after massaging, several people in a row. There was a lot of things that I convinced myself that I needed to keep going and why I shouldn't let this go, right? Because I worked so hard to get it. But at the same time, it was making me so unhappy. And then that unhappiness accumulated to this point where this year is the choice point. And I came to the crossroads with my massage career specifically. And I knew this was the year that it was just not going to happen, that I was going to shed, this mentality that I couldn't do something else, or that I couldn't leave it behind because I'd worked so hard for it. So shedding all of that within myself has now brought me to the point where I am not, and I'm actually 2 weeks away right now from needing to renew. November 1st is our deadline to renew our registration here in Canada, and I will not be renewing my registration. As a matter of fact, I will be completely, because there's a possibility to be active or inactive, so I'm not even going to go inactive. I'm fully just going to give them my license back and say, here you go. I am done with this and I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to embrace a career that fulfills me, that literally makes my heart sing and my soul sing. And And I'm just really ready to embody a brand new way of making money, a fun and exciting and truly fulfilling way of making money. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing massage here. I certainly felt fulfilled many times that I was doing that career over the years, but it's an extremely physical job. If anyone knows that, if anyone goes for massages or gets massages or gives massages, knows exactly how physically demanding it can be. And it really isn't something that's meant to be long lived. You know what I'm saying? So they say the burnout rate is 5 years for massage therapists. And I did it for 17. So I kind of went like 3 times over that. So, it's not something that is sustainable. And now I am choosing something that is sustainable, something that doesn't require that kind of physical effort and input from me, to make somebody else feel better. Because I've come to realize I can make people feel better through my coaching, through my counseling, through my words, through my listening, through different ways of how I show up in a session. Because when I'm in a session with a person, like, I am so fucking present, it's insane. Like, I'm 100% tuned in, tapped on, turned on to that person, and I feel all the different things, because that's how I get my perceptions and my different intuitive hits about the person. It's also how the guidance comes through for me. So it's like realizing and understanding that, like, wow, like, I worked so hard, so 3D, so physically, all of these years, and it really took a toll on my body and my mind and my spirit. And then on top of that, of course, let's just a little side note here that massage therapists are really not respected. Doesn't matter where you go in the world. I find in most cases, massage therapists are not respected because it's a physical touch and body involved and all this stuff. And a lot of people's, can misconstrue and can make it very sexual and whatnot. So we're just not, it doesn't matter how much they regulate the profession, we're not respected. That's the truth. We're not respected by medical professionals. We're not respected by physios and by a lot of different medical professionals. So anyway, aside from that, just really realizing and coming into this knowing of, like, yeah, I'm done with that shit. Like, I'm done with the disrespect. I'm done with with being underpaid, considering how much effort and time and energy I got to put into a person with each massage, right? And I'm just choosing to find a new way. And I have found a new way. This is my new way. And it's exhilarating, it's exciting, it's motivating. It makes me want to get out of bed in the morning. It doesn't make me feel exhausted and tired like massage used to. So what I'm trying to really say here to you is just choose a career. The work that you do needs to fulfill you. If it does not fulfill you, you are going to collapse from it. You're either going to die prematurely. Like, I've seen so many people doing jobs and forcing themselves to do jobs that they absolutely just didn't like anymore, that exhausted them and made them tired, but they kept pushing themselves. And then what happens? Well, fucking disease kicks in. Of course it does, because the body is not meant to go through suffering like that. We're not meant to suffer when we work. We're meant to do work that is fulfilling and uplifting and gives you energy, not takes away your energy, right? So find that work, because if you don't, you're going to stay stuck in your current reality. You're going to just stay stuck where you're at. You're never going to take those opportunities to become a better version of yourself, or to experience a better version of yourself, to experience the happiness that you can from doing something that fulfills you. So take the time to figure yourself out. Take the time to go within and have more awareness about how you feel about things. Feeling is so important. I can't even say it enough. So if you do that, then you are going to find major truth. You're going to be able to shift your life very, very quickly in very new ways that, maybe you don't even expect at this time. And I'm realizing for myself too, that it's like, I had to give myself permission, to say no to something that I've wanted to say no to for literally the last probably minimum 5 years, if not more. And I'm finally giving myself permission to say no. I'm done with that. I'm done with the association. I'm done with the bullshit that you guys make us jump through every single year, because we do. We have a lot of different things that we have to do that are completely pointless and absolutely, oh God, politics. Like, fuck, I can't handle that shit. Anyway, there's just so much of that in the world. And you know what? I would love to be one of those people that can open other people's eyes to realize that all this politics, all this like bullshit. And I'm not talking about like politics, but like all these different things that like, this is how it has to be, and you got to follow our rules, and like all this shit. Like, I'm done with that. I'm really, really done with it. And I have a feeling a lot of us are done with that. So I think it's time to really, first of all, come into yourself, regain your power. You're going to regain your power by finding happiness and joy through the things that you do, and then taking that power and using it for good. Be a source for good, because we have that power within ourselves. We just have to choose it. So that's my message today, guys, about my current ascension process, where I'm at. And, you know, I hope some of the examples I gave you helped you understand, you know, where maybe you are at this time, and what choices you need to make at this time to shift and to shed different people, situations, circumstances, or habits or mindsets to help you move forward. I hope that you found something in here. Yeah, definitely take the time to tune in. You will uncover secrets. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for hitting the like button on your way out, and for subscribing to the channel to help this channel grow. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Take care. Bye.